Welcome to this webinar, an introduction to the Junior Cycle short course in Artistic Performance, Engaging with the Arts. Some of you may be teaching artistic performance already, or you might be considering introducing it in your school. This recorded webinar will go for approximately 25 minutes and is set to be the first in a series of webinars designed to support Junior Cycle teachers interested in learning more about this short course. The learning intentions for this webinar are, firstly, to raise awareness about the artistic performance specification, focusing on the rationale and aim, as well as highlighting the range of artistic disciplines available. Secondly, we will explore possibilities for how you might approach the course in your own school context, and we'll hear from teachers about their experiences of teaching artistic performance. This slide displays the key documents that will be referenced during the webinar, along with where you can access them. So we have the Creative Ireland programme, the Arts and Education Charter, the Framework for Junior Cycle 2015, the Specification and Assessment Guidelines for the short course in Artistic Performance, Engaging with the Arts. Before we explore the Artistic Performance short course in more detail, it's important to understand what we mean by the arts. This definition comes from the Arts Act of 2003 and shows that the arts are very much about creative expression in a variety of forms. The arts are not limited to the art forms mentioned here, of course, but the definition provides clarity on what we mean when we are talking generally about the arts. Artistic Performance Engaging with the Arts is one of several NCCA developed short courses which a school may offer in the junior cycle. Short courses allow schools the flexibility to broaden the range of learning experiences for students, meet student needs, address their interests, and encompass areas of learning not covered by the combination of curricular subjects available in the school. There are 3 strands as shown. The course is learning outcomes based, and there is one classroom-based assessment which is reported on the Junior Cycle Profile of Achievement. Let's have a look at the Artistic Performance Rationale. It begins with this quotation from the Arts Charter of 2012. The message contained therein that a truly holistic education should include learning about, as well as through the arts, gets to the heart of the artistic performance specification, as do the clearly stated intentions that students can encounter a rich world of creativity, imagination and innovation by developing awareness of the arts, being involved in the arts, and appreciating the arts. The rationale states also that learning in artistic performance is enjoyable because it's hands-on, practical and group-based. Drawing on students' prior learning, it provides opportunities for them to develop new skills, art form specific skills as well as key skills such as working with others, communicating, managing information and so on. We will look more closely at how junior cycle key skills can be activated through this short course later in the webinar. Importantly, however, student engagement in hands-on group activities during the short course leads to the creation of what the specification describes as expressive works. It shows how these expressive works may be realised through movement, sound, symbol and image, as well as the feelings, meanings and interpretations that are communicated to an audience. Moving on from the rationale then, which refers to expressive works created by students, the aim of this specification distills this into a sentence, showing that the artistic practices students engage in during the course lead to what's termed a group performance. It's important to note here, and it's also highlighted within the specification, that performance can be a presentation, event, exhibition or production. Also, an array of artistic disciplines can form the focus of this short course, including music, musical theatre, drama, dance, film, visual art and other arts-based activities that lead to performance. In this way, the specification is quite open, allowing for flexibility and choice in how the course is implemented and interpreted. Depending on the artistic disciplines chosen and using the elements of movement, sound, symbol and image, students may create expressive works that lead to a group performance. The types of performance can be a school play or musical, an art or photography exhibition, the scripting, editing and filming of a screenplay, a production of a musical concert, or other arts activities leading to performance. This openness to other arts activities creates more possibilities. For example, you could have a combination of artistic disciplines, such as a dance drama or an outdoor art exhibition, or even a series of short video clips in a TikTok style. You may like to consider which artistic disciplines may suit your school context. Let's start to explore the key learning for artistic performance. The specification highlights these junior cycle statements of learning as being particularly relevant. Statement of Learning 4, the student creates and presents artistic works and appreciates the processes and skills involved. Statement of Learning 23, the student brings an idea from conception to realization. Statement of Learning 1, the student communicates effectively using a variety of means in a range of contexts in Language 1. And Statement of Learning 20, the student uses appropriate technologies in meeting a design challenge. Now moving on to key skills. Artistic performance offers opportunities to support all key skills, but some are particularly significant, and teachers can build elements of key skills into their classroom planning. For example, being creative, students learn to respond imaginatively to stimuli from art sources. They express feelings, thoughts, and ideas through the chosen arts medium. Working with others, they listen and share ideas, respecting the views of others, and they cooperate with each other in the development of group performances. Communicating, depending on the context, students learn to use body language, expression that's suited to the context, make choices around how best to communicate with their audience using different styles and media. Being literate, students develop their oral literacy skills as they engage in discussion, debate, and the skills of public speaking. Let's focus now on the 3 strands, and in the next slide, the learning outcomes for artistic performance. The strand titles are 1. Experiencing the arts, 2. Planning and preparing, and 3. Participation and performance. All 3 strands are interrelated. The learning outcomes from each strand are worked on throughout the course, and in this sense the course is not sequential or linear. As we know, learning outcomes are statements that describe the knowledge, understanding, skills and values students should be able to show on completion of this short course. We also have an accompanying learning outcomes poster, which is available for you to view and download. Let's look more closely at the learning outcomes on the poster.
The learning outcomes for artistic performance engaging with the arts are divided into 3 strands. Strand number 1 is experiencing the arts. Within this strand, there are 5 learning outcomes. Strand number 2, planning and preparing, has 10 learning outcomes, divided between 2 elements, identifying the collaborative creative activity and practicing and developing specific skills. Strand 3 has also 2 elements, with 3 learning outcomes in each, sharing our work and evaluating and critiquing. All 3 strands are interrelated. Learning outcomes from each strand are worked on throughout the course. As you view this poster, you may like to consider learning outcomes across the 3 strands that you could select to ensure that learning from each strand is worked on throughout the course of artistic performance engaging with the arts.
Now let's hear from teachers who've been teaching artistic performance. We'll hear first from Kathy, who teaches at New Park Comprehensive School, and then Anne from Malahide Portmarnock Educate Together Secondary School. We hope that their testimony will be useful as you consider how you might approach the artistic performance short course in your school context. Which artistic discipline or disciplines have you chosen for your students in your context, and why?
So in my school, we've chose drama as the focus and theatre studies, and this was primarily a response to the demand for drama in the school. We have over 100 students in the junior cycle take part in extracurricular drama, and there's very as it was at that point only offered in fourth year. Drama was only offered in fourth year, and we could see there was a real need for drama in the junior cycle, and this gave us the opportunity to do that. And also because we had an experienced drama teacher in the school, and we were combining the short course with philosophy, and we felt that philosophy and drama worked really well, which has worked out really well for us. Those are the primary reasons for it. Music and art were offered already as subjects, and we felt there was a gap in the curriculum, and this has filled it.
Are there any learning outcomes from any of the three strands that you've been particularly drawn to while teaching the course?
Very much the first one, experiencing the arts. So obviously at the moment it's a bit different, but taking students out, whether it's to an art gallery or to the theatre, having that experience of actually experiencing the arts with professionals has been really amazing. And then in the second strand, the collaborative and creative activity, and them listening to each other and contributing to each other. Again, it all just fed into the artistic performance course so well. And then sharing our work as well in the last strand. It's just like the whole evaluating and critiquing work, that was something we started from the very start. And they're constantly, every time they were performing, they would look at what they were doing, they would analyze it. And it really, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the principles of learning to learn. Like, they really learn from it, and you can see that in their reflective journals, and the way that they then process what they've learned, and then how they improve the next time they do something.
Do you want to say anything else? Is there anything else that you wanted to say, Kathy?
Well,
around
just the three strands, when you do them all together, it makes sense. So going to the theatre, experiencing it, and then going back into the classroom and putting it into practice, you need that combination of things to really make it work, I think. And I've found teaching this, and I'm still teaching it, probably the most enjoyable part of my teaching career so far, just being able to really let students flourish. And it's a real break from the grind. And even now at the moment, I take them outside, and they just, they can just be themselves.
So the most recent discipline that we looked at was puppetry. And I suppose the reason why was teachers just came across some ideas while they were doing their research about Javanese puppets. And I actually had brought on my travels a Javanese puppet home with me. So it was a great opportunity to explore that with the students. And we focused on, there was kind of three parts of it, if you like. One was doing the research about the history of puppetry, and particularly in Javanese and the Indian context, a little bit around China. And then there was the making of the puppets themselves. And then they had to create a story, take a fairy tale, adapt it, that they could tell the story via the puppetry, and make a little box, a light box, where they could use these puppets in the background. So it involved quite a lot of skills, which we felt were very appropriate to the new junior cycle, and that's why we chose it. And they were very excited about it too. So they did have some input and agreed to the project being part of those different elements.
So apart from puppetry, have they done any other artistic discipline?
Yes, the previous year actually we did a collaboration with the Gaiety School of Acting, and we explored the whole idea of knowing yourself and kind of building students' confidence in themselves as well. So what the students did there, we did a lot of work around their identity, what makes them unique. So there's a lot of weeks just planning that, thinking about that, and then they made these papier-mâché busts, torsos if you like, around their own body shape. And then they were left to dry. And then they decorated those with symbols or images or words that best described those. Then they were displayed, they were hung from a ceiling and lights put inside them. And we had a little exhibition when we invited local people to that and anybody connected to the school to that exhibition. And that was amazing to see, like, some students, what their interests were, what their influences were. A student who didn't use a light said it was because one student who used a stronger light was because they were afraid of the dark. And even just that little symbolism and little personal details were lovely. One torso told a student's journey around being diagnosed with diabetes and what that had meant to her. So that they were fascinating journey on that artistic performance.
Are there any key skills in particular that you would say the short course really supports?
I think managing myself was a big one for us, particularly around that first project, knowing themselves, reflecting on things. And part of both of those projects we've done in the past with the students, there's a huge amount built in around reflection and how I worked with others. They do reflection themselves. They have peer reflection on the different group work. And then they ask their teachers as well for a reflection on how the teachers felt they did. So there's a lot around that reflecting and managing myself, knowing myself, reflecting on their learning. Obviously, a huge amount in communicating. If you look at the puppetry module that we did, there's a huge amount of communicating a story. And the best way to do that, expressing emotions. And it was a nice, safe way to do that as well, in that it was through puppets and not themselves. So it was at a little bit of a remove, which is nice for the quieter students. And a massive part of artistic performance, I think, is working with others, developing those good working relationships with other students. If somebody's not pulling their weight, how to manage that and deal with that in an honest and a kind of a sensitive way. So I think they're probably the three that I would stand out for me.
Having listened to Kathy and Anne talk about their experiences, let's see what the course might look like. So starting with a selection of relevant learning outcomes from across the three strands, stage 1 would be where you choose the artistic discipline or disciplines, teacher and students together. Stage 2, experience arts events in the chosen discipline. This could mean a face-to-face or virtual visit to your local art centre, theatre or art gallery, or to view a film or dance performance. Experiencing the arts is key for students as they begin to talk about and evaluate artistic performances. They can also reflect on these experiences to inform their choice of creative projects. Stage 3 is with students you agree on when and where the group performance will take place, and roles are assigned to both performing and non-performing. Stage 4, this is the rehearsal process or preparation phase, in which ideas are transformed into the group performance. Stage 5, the group performance itself, where ideas are transformed into an expressive work that communicates feelings, meanings and interpretations to an audience. Now let's look at how artistic performance might fit into your school's curriculum. As we know, short courses require a minimum of 100 hours of student engagement. Here are some timetabling scenarios that may suit your school context. Scenarios 1 and 2 show how the course may take place over 2 or 3 years in 40-minute classes. Scenarios 3 and 4 show how the course may be timetabled over 2 or 3 years in 60-minute classes. Assessment and reporting in artistic performance is designed to support student learning. Student progress and achievement will be reported to parents via school reports and in the JCPA. There is one CBA, the group performance, and the CBA can be an event, presentation, exhibition, concert, play, musical, film, or other arts activity leading to a performance. The CBA is based on features of quality as they apply to a student's role in the performance, whether that's performing or non-performing. The classroom-based assessment, or CBA, is included within the 100 hours allocated. The CBA is the culmination of work undertaken in all three strands. CBA assessment should begin after work in the three strands has been completed. Preparation for and completion of the CBA takes place over approximately 8 to 10 hours of class time, though this may depend on the type of performance chosen. CBAs for reporting purposes in the JCPA cannot take place in first year, and a Learning and Assessment Review, or LAR, takes place after the completion of the CBA. Reporting on achievement in artistic performance will be in either the short courses section or the other areas of learning section of the Junior Cycle Profile of Achievement, depending on how a school includes artistic performance in their curriculum. So as we come to the end of this webinar, let's just revisit our learning intentions, which were to raise awareness of the artistic performance specification and explore some possibilities for how you might approach artistic performance in your school context. The Artistic Performance Specification and Assessment Guidelines are available at www.jct.ie or www.curriculumonline.ie. For further information, email info@jct.ie, follow Arts in Junior Cycle on Twitter @JuniorCycleArts, and our websites are www.artsinjuniorcycle.ie and www.jct.ie.
To access the short courses section of our website, please visit www.jct.ie and click on Short Courses. On the homepage, you will see a range of options. In order to access previously delivered elective workshops, please click on CPD Workshops. On the left-hand side, you will see Core Workshops and Elective Workshops. Please click on Elective. And from here, you will see a list of options, including all of the elective workshops that have been delivered to date. This particular workshop on artistic performance will be available in the Short Courses Elective Workshop section here after this launch.
Thank you for attending this webinar, an introduction to the Junior Cycle short course in artistic performance, engaging with the arts. We would like to end with this quotation. Art, broadly defined, is a fundamental human enterprise, the making of meaning, individual and collective, through representation. In making art, we make ourselves. In understanding art, we understand ourselves. Thank you.